Hello, and welcome to Woody's Weekly Wisdom, episode number 28 already, and they're nicely stacking on top of each other. I hope you've been following along. And if you would like to do me a favour, if you're watching this on Facebook, hit the like, comment, and share buttons and let us know what you like about the Weekly Wisdoms. If you're watching on YouTube, hit the subscribe button and the little bell to get notified when these come out so that you can help us improve the number of people who get to see these videos. And the reach is improving every week, but if you can do me that little favor, that would be awesome. All right, so on to this week's Weekly Wisdom, and we're looking at this topic, or this headline: political dynamite, Prime Minister urged to consider inheritance taxes. Now, I'm not necessarily going to go, and this is going to be a little bit of a rant of a wisdom, but I'm not going to go too much into the article. But basically what's happened is one person has come out and said that they think the government should look at implementing an inheritance tax. And the article goes on about how the government needs to be able to raise revenue, and rather than taxing people more and more whilst they're working, why don't we just hit them with their inheritance? And it acknowledges that it's a political hot potato, and more than likely it's not going to be implemented. But it is interesting that the norm is go to school, work hard at school, get a good education, get a good job, work hard all your life, pay your taxes all your working life, then retire, live off whatever you've been able to accumulate. But then if you want to pass anything on to your kids to help them in an ever increasing and demanding economic world, we're going to tax them so that they don't get as much as what you would like to leave them. It's just stupid, to be honest. What a disincentive to accumulate your wealth that you want to then pass on to your kids. And also, what a disincentive to create wealth that might help your future generations not be reliant on government handouts, on government tax collections in order to keep people afloat. It's just absolutely beggars belief as to how stupid an idea that would be. We should be encouraging people, like I do with the Investor's Way, to grow their wealth, to teach their kids how to grow their wealth, and to accumulate enough wealth that you can then pass it on to your kids, who can hopefully then continue to grow it and pass it on to their kids. And that will create generations that don't need the government for handouts. Wouldn't it be smarter to think of ways to do that than to contemplate implementing an inheritance tax that puts more money in the government's pocket for them to waste on stupid people like this one? I mean, let's face it, Kerry Packer was right all those years ago when he was being quizzed by a Senate inquiry, and he said something along the lines of, anybody who's paying more tax than they should is an idiot because the government's not doing a very good job of spending it. And here we are with a classic example of a recycled story and a recycled policy about, let's just tax the wealthy and impede their ability to help the next generation not need government handouts for survival and for meeting their needs. It's just absolute stupidity. And I guess the good thing, the one good thing about this article is it does say it's a political grenade, effectively, or dynamite, and it acknowledges that it was it's an unlikely policy to get passed, and that this person who raised it is saying, "Oh, I'm not going to raise it anywhere else. I've only done it here. I'm not intending to use it when I get into my new role in the government." But it's just absolute reverse mentality of how to solve the problem of government support. Shouldn't the government maybe think about ways to support people getting educated on how to grow their wealth so they don't need the government for handouts? It just doesn't make any sense. So on this week's Weekly Wisdom, I'm going to implore you to get financial literacy education. If you haven't got it, if you're not a current client, if you're not even thinking about getting it, go and get financial literacy education. Know how to manage and grow your money so you can accumulate a nice nest egg that will support you in your retirement and hopefully provide something for your kids when you're gone that will help them with their retirement and their lifestyle that they can then pass on to their kids. And let's start this generational change when it comes to creating wealth and removing reliance on the government for assistance. Because, like I said, the more money we give them, the more they waste, and the more that they effectively require us to be dependent on them. And my mission in life and my mission with the Investor's Way is to ensure that you don't need to be dependent on anybody else for your lifestyle and your choices when it comes to how you want to live your lifestyle. So let's build up that financial literacy education to remove the reliance on government handouts and remove that stick that they hold over us by saying, well, you are going to need us down the track. If we remove our reliance on their handouts, they have less power over us, less ability to impact our life, and we can pass that down to generations. It's an exact reason why I call my program Wealth Generator. It's about generating wealth, but it's also about generational wealth. So if you're ready and interested in learning about how to create that financial literacy, to understand financial literacy, how to manage your money, how to grow your money, and how to remove your reliance on others for a lifestyle that you want, then reach out, leave us a comment, send me a message, whatever it might take. But let's get that financial literacy working so that a headline like this, introducing a new tax or consider an inheritance tax, becomes less of an issue for us because we are going to remove dependence on anybody else for growing our wealth and managing our wealth, and remove that reliance on government handouts. Nothing worse than having to depend on somebody else to look after you in your retirement. So reach out. Let's get this snowball rolling down the hill rapidly in terms of people who are taking control of their money and growing their wealth and eliminating the need to rely on government, and therefore sending a message to them about all these silly taxes. So that's my rant over and done with. I hope that makes sense, and I'd love to speak to you if you're interested in creating your wealth and creating generational wealth and generational change in your family. So reach out, let us know if we can help. We'd love to have a conversation with you. Hopefully that was helpful. Woody's Weekly Wisdom, episode number 28. We'll see you again next week. Cheers.